Hey guys, in this video we are talking about this movie I recently watched, and it is called In This Corner of the World. This is a war drama animated Japanese film which was released in 2016, directed by Sunao Katafushi. The movie takes place during World War II in Hiroshima. In the movie, we follow a girl named Suzu, who is carefree and separated, and she has the habit of drawing. As she reaches the age of 18, she gets married off to a man she barely knows. Then she gets moved in together with his family. The movie later extends to her attempting to become a good housewife, as well as having to maintain the way to live as the war going on in her surroundings. Quite honestly, I wasn't initially planning to make a review on this movie, mostly given the fact that I'm having a hard time to describe what the movie is actually about. But the more I think about this movie, the more I appreciate it. So I figured I'll just simply have to make a video on it. Now first off, watching this movie makes me feel like I'm watching 3 movies at the same time, because there's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, whether it is the girl trying to become a good housewife, or the drawing being a hobby and having to give up on it due to her marriage, or her trying to make it through World War II. With all this, I'm not saying that the movie is bad just because it has a lot of things going on at the same time. In fact, it is quite the opposite, because the movie does a really good job when it comes to making all these plot points serve purpose to one another in this fun, playful, and brilliant way possible. When I was watching this movie, I was constantly getting surprised by frequent plot changes which are absolutely well done. Each plot point doesn't feel like it's done just for the sake of the plot. I was amazed by the storytelling of it. Now when it comes to animation, I would say that the animation in this movie is pretty standard. It's not necessarily bad, but it has this desaturated look to it, which I think is very different from any other anime movie I've seen. But I think it fits the tone of the movie perfectly well, given that the movie takes place in the old time period. Now there is one thing I wasn't expecting going into this movie, is that the movie can be funny sometimes. Throughout the movie, there is a few funny moments here and there that got me laughing. They strike you at the least moment you are expecting, and you find yourself laughing and having a smile on your face. Now this has really nothing to do with the plot itself, but there's a few things happening in the movie that make you go like, wait a second, did it actually happen, or is it just an imagination of the girl? Like I said, they don't actually solve the plot of the movie. I suppose they are just put there in the movie to give you the idea of wonderful, cute, and creative imaginations children can have sometimes. Now this is something which I kind of expected going into this movie, is that it has some darker themes. Being a movie set during war, it was no surprise for me that they explore some conflicts and elements about war and how people struggle to survive through it. In a way, this movie makes you appreciate the life you have now compared to the other people who lived and survived through the hardship and torture of war in the past. Now when it comes to voice acting, needless to say, every voice actor does their respective roles perfectly and brings emotion to the characters. With that, I believe this is pretty much about this movie without giving any spoiler. So overall, I think this is a fun, entertaining, joyful movie about this wonderful coming of age story of a girl and how she tries her best to endure every hardship possible that gets in the way of her life. I think this movie truly deserves more attention than it does now. So if you are someone who is a fan of anime movies and haven't seen this movie yet, I can't recommend enough to check it out. You will have a great, wonderful time with it. Now when it comes to rating, I'm giving this movie 8 out of 10. And with that, As always, that's all for this video.